right? If you do that, you're practicing the test over and over. It's a resource for you. Great. Try to connect the countries to something you know.
Yeah.
Ooh, who could give me an example? Now, okay, go. I know where you're going with this, but you do it.
I know a lot about soccer, so like I connected all the countries in Africa to like a team or a soccer player.
Got it.
And yeah, so.
All right. So now you have an extensive knowledge of this outside learning that really I don't teach here, although it's technically part of culture. But you've got this knowledge of soccer that you utilize to extend and transfer that to some other knowledge. And in that is a lesson about when you come to know one thing really well, that you actually, in life, you'll find that knowledge of one thing really well, you start to come across things that you can transfer that knowledge and look, now wait a minute, I see the same pattern in this whole other different type of learning. So the unintended consequence is that your knowledge of soccer brings you a richer understanding of geography, and who knew that was going to happen? Well, people who know about learning know that, yeah, that kind of thing happens a lot when you come to know something well. So that's awesome. Great. Anybody else connected to something you know? Chris, I thought I heard you say, yeah, I did that too. Is that wrong? I was wrong. All right, so learn countries, then take tests over and over. Got it? Study a map and write down the countries. Anybody try that one? Use a paper map? Yeah, good. Take different tests and relate the names of the countries and their shapes. I like that. Who was that? Pop that one up. Say that was me. Nice. Good. I also heard from somebody who said that what they did was they looked at the color of the map and the color of the countries, and then retraced those countries and colored in their own map, reinforcing the idea that Egypt was yellow and Chad was green, or right. I'm not sure what they are. You guys have probably read it. So people were telling me, no, Egypt's yellow, it's green. I'm sorry, I don't know. But they used the color to indicate, to trigger their understanding. And once they knew kind of the colors of the country, they knew what they got in the neighborhood. They went, oh, that green one right there, I know that's the Gambia. My favorite. Right. Any other thoughts, comments about learning, about strategies to employ, Chris?
There's like tests, mini tests almost, like for each section of Africa.
Tell me about, Chris, about this. Here's my amazingly perfectly accurate and to scale drawing and sketch of Africa. Are you ready?
Yes.
Right?
It's beautiful.
Right? I know you're speechless like you should be. Okay, so.
Actually, that's pretty good.
Thank you
for
very
the
much.
first time.
Right, actually, look at this.
You got the shape pretty well.
Let's go right now. It's an amoeba. Everybody knows that. Okay, so how hard is this section of Africa? Is that the hard part?
Yeah.
All right. Somebody else? Carter, where's yours? What's the harder part?
I would have to say like north, eastern.
Up here?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Ethiopia.
Okay, got it. So somewhere in there is your obstacle, right? And it's kind of interesting to hear that for some people this is the really hard part, or this one over here is harder, right? So, Chris, is there a test on this part of Africa?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a test in there. So Chris actually went out and sought more resources. I think it's time for this pen to go.
Gets buckets. Ah, I missed.
All right, so sought more resources, and there's a quiz in there that if you're stuck on this part or that part, you might be able to get in and find more resources that way. Or you can sing this geography song. No? Are you taping down?
I've been taping this whole time.
Okay, now wait.
I got that too.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, so my point here is this is a really quick mini lesson on how we use other people's work for our own work and not get busted for it. How does that sound?
Good.
Good? Does that sound... Am I pushing you guys to, plagiarize? Am I? Yes. Maybe I am.
The good way.
Let's say that this is, in fact, Kellen, you're right. This is about plagiarism. Only I'm not pushing it. I'm actually going to be educating you about it. And the reason I'm going to bring this up is because plagiarism is what? What's the key word we associate with plagiarism?
Copy.
Copying. Or otherwise known as cheating, right? But plagiarism, 90% of the time, is not conscious cheating. It's a misunderstanding of how we take what we learn from somebody else and apply it to our own paper. It's a mistake that most people just, they don't understand the process of how we're supposed to do it. So when they put it in their own paper, they often plagiarize because they don't, oh, I didn't know. I know I have to get that in there, but. So let's find out what that means. So today we're going to learn and use strategies to use someone else's ideas in our own papers and how to do it properly. Are you ready? This is good stuff. Here are two pieces of writing. Now I'm not going to ask you to just read this. I'm actually going to read it to you out loud. But I want to tell you what these two pieces of writing are. This is from a book that was researched by an author who did his own original research, and then wrote a book about it, he or she. This is how a student took this passage and included it in his or her paper. At the end of reading both of these, I'm going to ask you, is this plagiarism or not? Okay? You ready? So I'm going to read, listen carefully, and then we'll try and see what we can learn from what they put. All right. The rise of industry, the growth of cities, and the expansion of the population were the three great developments of late 19th century American history. As new, larger steam-powered factories became a feature of the American landscape in the East, they transformed farm hands into industrial laborers and provided jobs for a rising tide of immigrants. With industry came urbanization, the growth of large cities like Fall River, Massachusetts, where the Thorntons lived, which became the centers of production as well as of commerce and trade. So now you've seen that, I'm going to bring you to this one, and I'm going to read it out loud, and then I want you to look for whether or not you think it's plagiarism or not. The increase of industry, the growth of cities, and the explosion of the population were three large factors of 19th century America. As steam-driven companies became more visible in the eastern part of the country, they changed farm hands into factory workers and provided jobs for the large wave of immigrants. With industry came the growth of large cities like Fall River, where the Bordens lived, which turned into centers of commerce and trade as well as production. So my question to you is, in your mind, I want you to turn to a partner and talk. Is this plagiarism? If it is plagiarism, talk about why you think so. If it's not plagiarism, tell about why you think it's not.